Hi,
Hi,
how are you?
I'm fabulous. How are you?
Welcome back to Memphis.
Oh yeah, home away from home.
Home away from home. So how many years you been traveling to Memphis?
22.
22 years.
Yes.
Wow. That is a long, long time. So,
I have good hair in Memphis.
you have good hair in Memphis? Yeah, I do too. I don't know, I just managed to get this little shine, that goes on. It works for me. It works for me.
Yeah.
So, what is it about Memphis that the Memphis weather that makes your hair so fabulous?
I don't know. There's some secret sauce. There's something here, cause that Florida weather, it just kills and dries my hair and dehydrates it. But when I come here, it's like the curls just bounce back, and it's beautiful. I can't complain though. But Memphis is beautiful. Memphis has some great weather. I love the weather change. I love that we get a little bit of the cold, a little bit of the freezing, a little bit of that fall, a little bit of that spring, and then the summer. So
Well, I don't know. I don't know if a lot of Memphians would agree with you on that,
let
but
me take them to Florida, and then I bet you they will.
you think so?
Oh yeah,
You know what? I don't know
our weather was
because
120 now.
I've had three coworkers who have retired and they moved to Florida and they love it.
But I mean, no, it's vacation state. Why would you not love it? I
Yeah.
mean, if I had to pick three states that I could live in, it would definitely be, of course, Florida,
Okay.
Memphis, and my heart's between Texas and Wisconsin.
Really?
But I think I would pick
Now
Texas.
Texas is down here and Wisconsin is up here.
My mom's up there.
Oh,
We're
gotcha.
originally from Texas.
Gotcha.
Originally from. That's why I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan.
Again, sorry to hear that.
So we went up all the way to Wisconsin. From Wisconsin, we went all the way down to Florida. And then the good Lord brought me to Memphis. So now I'm here in Memphis. Well, it's our home away from home. We come back and forth. Of course, my daughter's a St. Jude patient, so that's how we
Right.
landed here in Memphis.
Okay. So, first of all, I don't know how long that we've communicated back and forth.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, we've talked tons of times, especially,
Yes.
pretty much kicked off. We was talking about going gold.
Yes.
I was talking about the Go Gold events that we had going on here in Memphis. And of course, you started something in your hometown.
Yes.
And so we were just kind of collaborating back and forth on,
2018?
yeah.
2018.
It's been that long?
2018, because you wanted to put this little gold stakes all over Memphis. Remember,
Yeah.
that's how you started. I just want to put all these little, down in the little park.
Yeah.
Down the
Yeah.
little park.
Uh-huh.
And then, why don't you, let's turn the bridge, we've turned it every color. Why can't we do it gold?
Right,
We turn
right.
that bridge every
Yeah.
single color. Why can't we turn that bridge gold for, go gold?
I know.
I'm working on the White House. The White House really needs to step it up a notch. They make it every color, but why not gold in September?
I need you to step up.
I'm stepping up.
Uh-huh.
I got a plate full at the moment.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, so who she is pointing at is her daughter, Alexis, who is a gorgeous woman and unfortunately a Cowboy fan as well. So therefore, we have not allowed her to come on the set because I can only take one Cowboy fan at a
At a
time.
time.
Just one at a time. So, I think she's a wonderful young lady. So we're just going to keep her over there and I'm just going to deal with you. You. But so tell us a little bit about your story, your experience as a
So
St. Jude mom.
as a St. Jude mom, I've seen a little bit of everything at St. Jude. I've seen them from where they first started, because we've been a patient since 2001. So we've been, like I said, coming for 22 years. So we were at the beginning when the hospital, not the very beginning, because the hospital did open in 1960 something, if I'm not mistaken. And again, we're in 2001, so not that much of a difference. We've seen the numbers rise in patients. We've seen patients survive. We've also had which we call them friends. We don't call them patients. Our friends. We've seen our friends survive, and we also seen our friends pass away from their cancer battle. Coming here, I was young. I have to say that even though my daughter has spent her whole life here, I've spent half of my lifetime here. I was 21 when I first came here, and this was before cell phones. This was before
Wow.
all the blessing of the cell phones right now that people are able to communicate with their families right now. Back in the days, I do have an older son. He is actually 26. my kids are 4 years apart. So to leave him behind to come and take care of my newborn, because my Lexi was 19 days old when we got here, was a lot on a young mom, because St. Jude's also had not received such a young baby. We were, again, 19 days old when we got here. So it's been a journey. It's been a journey, but it's also a blessing of a journey, because we've been able to experience humbling in our lives. We've been able to experience not only pain, but again, blessings. Being a childhood cancer survivor's mother. Now, my daughter was diagnosed twice. She had leukemia, AML at birth, and then right before her sweet 16, she was diagnosed with a schwannoma brain tumor.
So she was diagnosed at birth.
Yeah.
So
Well,
what was it like to get that news?
When it was a lot of emotion. It's unexplainable, because I was not a first time mom, but a second time mom, and I had a plan that I had in place, and now that plan is completely
Right.
gone. And when they told me I was going to go to when I was going to go to St. Jude's, I'm like, oh, okay. I'm thinking it's in Florida, because that's where we're from, and they're like, oh no, this is in Memphis, Tennessee. So coming to a whole another state, thousands of miles away from my family by myself, was a bit devastating for me, because I'm a mom with a newborn, having to leave my son behind.
Who's young?
With my parents and my siblings, because they all kind of partaked in taking care of him and making sure that they gave him the love that I couldn't while I was gone here. And actually, a trip that they had me thinking I was coming here for just a couple weeks ended up turning into 18 months.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
we got
I've heard
here
that story before.
at 19 days old, and we didn't leave until she was almost 18 months old.
Wow.
But we got to bring my son, though. My son did end up coming in here, and he lived here with me, and he got to go to school. So St. Jude's is also a blessing to us, because we were able to come back together, with twofold with our family. I was able to be with both of my kids.
Right. So during that time, what do you think was the biggest struggle? I mean, I know you had to be away from your family. You had to be away from your son. So, like, financially, what were some of the struggles that you dealt with then, and what are some of the struggles that you deal with now?
So at that time, I was actually working on my credit, because I was young. And my goals were to finish nursing. Like I said, I had a whole plan. So I actually moved in with my mom and my dad.
Okay.
And my dad was going to help me, because my dad had got injured, and he was going to help me with Lexi. He's like, I'll take care of her, so that way you don't have to pay daycare or anything, and you can finish your nursing.
Which is big help.
Yes, finish nursing. And so they had a home with 3 extra bedrooms, and that was the plan. And of course, that's not the plan that happened. So I had to leave a job behind. I lost my car. Thank God I wasn't living anywhere, so I lost my car and the little bit of credit that I had built up. So coming here, I started a life. I had to start some sort of life here. So I'm like, how am I supposed to financially take care of myself? And then St. Jude's was like, oh no, we have housing here that will help you, and but that's where us parents come in with helping with the donations and whatever they have, a radiothon, a tricycle-thon, whatever marathon they're having.
Right.
They need us to help run it. So that's what we do. We that's how we give back. But when I got back, if it wasn't because St. Jude said, by the way, your daughter can also be put on Social Security, to kind of help you. So I started saving that. So when I went back home, I had enough money to find us a place, and we didn't have to continue living with my mom and dad. Because, being a cancer mom and having this life can eat your life, okay?
Right.
It can eat your life, trust me, 22 years later. And there's some days I'm like, how have I survived? Of course, we know, our good Lord upstairs, but I'm just like, how have I survived all these years? How has she survived? How's my son? And to say that it hasn't affected our mental is an understatement. It has. It definitely has. We took a lot of time to making sure that we were okay and that we're able to, help today and strive, for a better day tomorrow.
So it's been 20, how many years?
2 years.
22 years. So a lot has happened in that time frame. Yeah, as I noticed that you took a deep breath there. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the troubles and the journey through all of this time, because you started your story when she was just an infant to 18 months old, but here she is now, a 22-year
Yeah,
old
she just turned 22.
Cowboy fan. A 22-year-old Cowboy fan, which questions how you raising her about, about
Yeah.
picking, But anyway, but, there are other teams. Shout out to Tennessee Titans. But um, so so it's been a long time
Yeah.
that you had to deal with this.
Yes.
I mean, were there difficulties being able to having some stability to be able to keep a job or finishing your nursing career, your nursing goal rather? So fill me in on what all of that was like.
Okay, so fast forward, we got to go home at 18 months old, went back home. I got to go back to the job that I had, which was
Hmm.
I love, babies and I love pregnancy. So I actually went back and worked with our OBGYN department and I was working there. I enrolled myself back
Perfect
into the,
spot.
yes, I enrolled myself back into that. I just think life is beautiful. Life is
Hmm.
such a precious thing. That's one thing, two things that we can never get back, and that's life and time.
Right.
We can never get those two back. So you have to learn how to appreciate life in the good and the bad. You have to learn how to value the time that you have
Hmm.
with the people that are living around you and with you.
Most definitely.
So fast forward, I went back to school. We were thriving. We were living good. We were trying to have some kind of normal life, because that's what everybody says. We want to have a normal
Want
life
to have a
like
normal
everyone
life, right?
else. But I don't think there's ever a normal life after childhood cancer, because as moms, you still check in on your kids. You're always, is everything going to be okay?
Right.
I wouldn't say I had a big fear that she was going to relapse or anything. Honestly, I
Hmm.
didn't. My faith in God was so big that I'm like, whatever he says is his will.
Hmm.
So fast forward again, we're in a nurse. I'm in a nursing program, going to school, working full time. She's in school, and for 3 days straight, she had a headache. But mind, she's finally getting older,
Right.
so she started her woman.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, it's a migraine. I honestly did not think anything, because we were almost past that 15 year mark,
Yeah.
where they're like, if kids relapse, they relapse within 5 years, and I'm like,
Yeah, that was you. When you said 15, I was like, I thought it was like 5 years.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. We did a big celebration. So we would when she was 5 years old. We did a huge celebration of life for her.
Right.
Cancer, because back in the days they used to say cancer free. Now they say no evidence of disease,
No.
so
Right.
NED. So
Right.
yeah, they call it NED versus cancer free. Which that's another thing that we'll save for another day. Save
Okay.
another day, because I really honestly don't think our cancer numbers are really straight. Because if you
Mm.
don't know, but I will let you know, but you probably know that if she's cancer free for 5 years and on the seventh year she relapses,
Yeah.
she's still in the numbers for cancer free, not in the relapse
Uh-huh.
numbers. So
Right.
those numbers don't match. But we'll save that for
Yeah. Yeah.
another
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll save that for
We'll
another
say that
day.
because I said you ready to get worked up on
Yeah,
that one.
but we're doing fabulous, like I said, and she didn't tell me actually the headaches were longer. My son's the one that told me, Mom, she's had headaches for a little bit longer than that. I'm like, she didn't tell me anything. So I had called her on that. It was a Friday when she got home and she was not answering me. So I got nervous. I went home and I told my boss I have to go check on her because that's not norm. I always check on her, and she's not answering me. So I got there and she was passed out on the couch,
Oh wow.
and she was red, flush. And I'm like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Mom, my head hurts." I said, "Okay." I gave her some ibuprofen. I said, "Let's see how the weekend goes." Saturday came. I have study group. She ate pizza with us in the study group, and they're all chit chatting with her. And she said she felt better. I said, "Okay." Sunday came. She said, "Mom, it still hurts a little." So I gave her a little something. I said, "If Monday you don't feel better, then we're gonna take you to the doctor." Monday comes along, and she's like, "Mom, I feel better. Can I go to school?" I said, "Yeah, go ahead, go to school."
Mm-hmm. Didn't happen.
No, she went to school, and they called me and they're like, "We need you to get here immediately." And I'm like,
Oh boy.
What's going on? They're like, Lexi came in and out of nowhere she was stumbling, and now we have her laying down, and she's red, and we just don't know what's going on. She said her head hurts. She does not look well. So I'm like, I gotta go. So I,
Freaked out.
of course, because I'm like, what just happened? We were doing good. So I'm rushed to her school, and I look at her, and she just does not look great. So I bring her back over to my doctor's office because, like I said, I work in the OBGYN department. So I took her to my doctor, and my doctor's like, whatever you do, you just don't take her here. Take her, out of town. So we drove out of town about 40 minutes. It happened to be the hospital where she was diagnosed at the first, not like with the full diagnosis, but where she was born at the
Right.
hospital. That's where they said, we got to get her to Martin Cancer Center because something's not going on and something's not right. So we went back to this hospital, and they took us to the pediatric ER, and the doctor did a CT scan. We weren't there literally maybe, I would say, an hour and a half, and the ER doctor came back crying because, of course, she got our history, and I'm just like,
Right.
what? And my heart dropped because I'm thinking she relapsed. I'm thinking, honestly, she relapsed, and I'm like, never in my mind. When she's sitting there talking to me, she's telling me, we found a brain tumor. I'm like, what? A what? And like, she's like, we think it's been there for a while. I said, but I knew it. I knew it because about a year prior to that, she started really stumbling, and she started hearing ringing in the ear. And I told St. Jude's, and I'm like, something's not right. I know she has, scoliosis. I said, but she's walking drunk, and something's not right. They tested her blood work. And the thing is that a schwannoma brain tumor is not cancerous. So it didn't throw off her counts.
Gotcha.
The type that she had, it didn't throw off her counts. Unless we did a CT scan or MRI, which we didn't think to do that because she didn't have a brain tumor. She had leukemia at birth. So when she said that, and I'm just like, I just remember the rest of her mouth just moving, and I said, can you just give me a moment, please? And she said, yeah. First thing I did was call Dr. Hudson here. I said, I don't know what's going on, but Lexi was just diagnosed with a brain tumor. So next thing you know, I'm reliving. I felt like I was literally punched in my chest and thrown back from 2017 to 2001 again.
Wow.
And we flew here. We had to wait. We didn't fly in here. We didn't get here till 5 o'clock in the morning because Dr. Hudson wanted to make sure that she didn't have anything else going on. And she ended up having the reason for the headache is she had hydrocephalus. And the amount that she had in there, which we were due the following month to come here for a visit, they said if we would have gotten in that flight, in the regular commercial flight and flown here, she would have died because everything would have ruptured
Wow.
because of the pressure. So they had to fly us at a super low altitude to St. Jude's. Well, to Le Bonheur is where they took us.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
What a story.
Yeah.
So, what is life like now? Because how often do you have to come to Memphis?
So, in 2017, we stayed here for what? We stayed here January, February, March, April, May, June, July. 7 months. We were here 7 months before we got to go home again. So the first time it was 18 months, and the second time it was 7 months. Because this time it was a brain tumor. They resected. The brain tumor was the size of a tennis ball.
That is huge.
Yeah. She has a huge indent in the back of her head and unfortunately it caused a lot of, damage. Our
Yeah.
kids, they always say, and they always, this question that our parents always ask each other, what's worse, leukemia or a brain tumor? They're both bad.
Right. Right.
But I can honestly say this because I've experienced it. A brain tumor changes our children. A brain tumor mentally, physically, changes our children.
Right.
Where they came in with a certain IQ, some are not leaving back with that same IQ, and it's changed their life forever. And that happened to her, where she went from normal classes, she went to special classes.
Right.
And that's okay, that's okay because that's okay. But so we live every day by day, We plan for the future, but we live day by day.
So, how much has it affected your life? I mean, because I know you have dreams and you have goals, and from the many many times that we've chatted, you very ambitious. You like to go. You like to do your things. So how much has it affected you?
Let me tell you, people always say, what's one of your fears? What's one of your biggest fears, V? And, a lot of my friends and family, they call me V. My name's Vanessa. I say,
It's funny
what's,
because we just started just talking, and
yes,
I didn't even do it. I
it's
didn't even
okay.
do an introduction.
It's okay.
I was just ready to just dive
Yes.
in. Let's do this.
Um, I was, and I'm gonna tell you this. When I first started, I was so ambitious. I was like, okay, this is not gonna stop me. We're still gonna keep going. So again, I started nursing. I started the process for nursing again. And then I still remember, okay, let me tell you this. Let me backtrack just a little bit. I remember doing, like I told you, that we were doing study group at my home. I got everybody from the college. We all studied together because we all wanted to ace our test. And I remember sitting on my porch because it was a week prior to that happening, this happening. I have failed all my tests.
What?
I failed all my tests, and they're like, V, how did you fail all your tests? I'm like, I was crying. I'm a big crybaby as it is. And I'm just like,
Well, never mind. I'm not,
I'm a
I'm
big
not even
crybaby,
going
guys.
there. Most Cowboy fans are.
Oh, low blow, low blow. Um, I was so crushed because I'm like, I'm not understanding this. Like, life is good. Like, she's doing good. She's good in school. I'm living life. I'm going back to school, and work is good. I'm doing that mother thing. I'm handling business, and I failed all my tests, and I, for once, cannot see my future. I, for once, cannot see in front of me. It was a fog. And all I remember was God telling me, I'm preparing you. Mind,
Oh wow.
I've always been a saver, okay? So when, like I told you, I was getting my credit because I'm like, I had to teach myself credit and I was doing all of that prior to her getting diagnosed. So when I went back home after this time, I saved and I saved and I saved and I worked on my credit, okay? I worked so hard on
Yeah.
everything. I said I wanted a house before I was 25. I made sure I had that house before I was 25 for me and my kids. I needed to have something stable in my life
Right.
because living in the cancer life, there's nothing that's stable. It's just not. I don't care what anybody says. It's not. You just never know. And I needed something that we could call ours and that we could go back to and we felt safe in.
Right.
And it was our home. So I worked really hard to get me and my kids our home. I remember still being on the side of the road filling out that housing application because I'm like, I'm going to get this house. They're going to approve me for this amount because I want this house.
Right.
And we did it. Those were my little goals,
Right.
those were Vanessa's little goals. Get your kids a home, get yourself a car without nobody's help. You don't have to depend on nobody and save. And then fast forward again to that day, and I'm like, what's going on? So my fear was to go back a third time to school and her be diagnosed again. So I said, I'm not going back to school.
Wow.
Until, mind, COVID hit. Me and my child both went through a deep depression because COVID really showed its face to a lot of us of how much healing we needed from our brokenness, not just as child cancer survivors, but as our past, me myself, and we did a lot of therapy and healing. And I said, you know what? She's doing great. And I'm going to trust God completely this time. Now, mine, I trust my God completely with my child, but I
Right.
wasn't trusting him with me.
Uh-huh.
With me, I wasn't.
Okay.
So this time I said, no, I'm going to live life. And I'm going to live life doing it as a cancer mom and as a cancer mom survivor. So now I'm going to challenge my test, and I want to get back into nursing. And it's crazy how God just leads and does those steps for you that you don't even know that you needed and sends you to
Right.
different paths that you need. So I started working with the elderly, and it's just like I needed that how do you say, not that I'm not humble, I just needed that softness back in me. And working with my elderly and knowing how precious, of course, life is already.
Right.
It just did something in me. It just created a shift of like, I'm
It's probably a
ambitious.
nice distraction too.
Yeah, I'm ambitious again, and now I have goals, and I'm just like, thank you, God, because now I have a plan for my life. Before I kind of like, V, do you have a life? Because my life was taking care of her.
Right.
now
You just
I'm
you just totally shut you down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, So we're waiting for these surgeries to go through, and everything's gonna go as God's plan. And then she's gonna go. Also, they have a special education center for children that want to go to college back in Florida, and she's
Cool.
gonna do that as well. So
Speaking of which, we offer scholarships. Yeah.
nice.
So you might want to keep that in mind when she's advancing her education.
Listen, we woke up this morning saying this day is ours. We were
Uh-huh.
seizing this day with nothing but positive vibes and nothing but good news.
Yeah, I saw your post.
And it's been nothing but positive vibes and positive.
Awesome.
That positive mindset is a real thing. It's
Right.
a real
Oh, most
thing.
definitely, yes.
It's a real thing. Manifesting your dreams is real. That spiritual connection is real. Some people are like, like I said, I've had my share of everything, of everything. And where people were like, "Oh, V, man, you're so strong. Your faith is so strong." And there was this thing that I saw. I said, "You know what? I don't want to be strong. I want to be fragile. Please treat me like I'm fragile." Because when people treat people that have not gone through cancer, they treat them with care, and they're fragile with them. And because we're cancer moms, they think that we're strong and we're brave. And no, we cry, we feel, we have pain too.
Right.
Treat me like I'm fragile. I want to be treated like I'm fragile, because then you're going to treat me like everybody else. And then you're not going to be like, "Oh, she's okay because she can handle this."
Yeah, she can handle,
Because
yeah.
she's done this twice. No, I cry, I hurt, and the pain is real.
Wow. So now, at this point, doing her treatments and everything, where is she now?
So
Oh, we
Yeah.
got a smile.
we actually had came in October.
Mm-hmm.
We came in October, and her regular facial surgeon relocated on us to Texas. Back to go Cowboys.
I should have had the beat button. The beat button. So when she said that, doop.
So he relocated on us to Texas, which we don't mind going to Texas, but we already traveled to St. Jude's,
Right.
and we're like, to go all the way over there, and it was going to be a fight and a challenge, and so much, to do with, trying to get us over there. So we chose and we opt to see her surgeon's partner. And nonetheless, we left here crying and upset, because he took the little hope that we had that this doctor could, finish the work that her original doctor started. And the whole trip was just a devastating news. And we left. We just wanted to go back home. And at that point, we were like, you know what? We're not going to do anymore.
Forget it,
We're,
yeah.
we're done. No
Yeah.
more surgeries. No more nothing.
Given this.
We're done.
Yeah.
We've had 22 years of tracheostomy, of multiple eye surgeries, muscle, resection and nerve resection, and you name it, we've had it, And I said, "You know what, Lex? You're alive. We're
You're alive.
thriving. Let's." And so I was sitting there, and of course God's like, that's not like you. What are you doing?
What's the deal?
Yeah. So I called, the nurse, and I said, "Listen, what's the other options besides Texas? Because I don't know if I want to travel all the way to Texas right now. But if we have to, we will." And she's like, "We have a new doctor coming, but he won't be coming till May. That's going to take over, that doctor's that doctor, that which was our favorite doctor, position. But it won't be till May, possibly June, that he'll get credentialed with St. Jude's, and he'll be ready to go." I said, "Okay." I said, "Send me his information, because I'm a doctor stalker. I'm gonna stalk a doctor. You're not just touching my child."
Hey, wait. Did you put the glasses on and pop up the laptop? And
Listen, do you see my glasses right here? You see my glasses right here? I said, "What's his name? Send me his picture." Matter of fact, I need to put a name with a name
Face
and a
with the name.
face.
Yeah,
face
yeah.
with the name with the face. I need to see who this is. I said, so I'm in there, and
Mama was serious,
Oh,
y'all.
yeah,
Mama was serious.
I told him today too. I said, "I doctor stalked you." He's
Doctor
like,
stalk.
I was doctor stalking him.
that's good.
I was checking his credentials. I was checking his reviews. I was checking where he studied, where he went, where he was at, Facebook, you name it. I was
Right.
on all of it.
Right.
All social media platforms, just checking to see who this person was, and come on, the last doctor, walked into the room, didn't even check her life history, and was asking me questions that he should have never been asking me, and I was really upset. So I said, and I've never. That's one thing. Everybody always tells me, V, you like everybody, so for you not to like somebody, even though I'm a Cowboys fan, for you
Yeah,
not to like
yeah,
somebody,
yeah, yeah.
there's a reasoning for that. So fast forward, if this doctor finally gets credentialed, we finally come back to Memphis, our home away from home, and we get to see this doctor. And I said, listen, I'm not asking for miracles, okay? We already had 2 miracles.
Right, exactly.
They gave her no hope at 19 days old. We got here, and honestly, she died the day that we got here. I said, but they got her back. That was God. She's actually passed away on me 3 times. Like, literally, they counted. Third time, doctor didn't think she was blue, like blue. And I remember him looking at me and me looking at him, and I'm just like,
So you're like, what you gonna do? What you gonna do?
yeah. And he just looked at me. He kept on going, and I seen that little chest raise up, and she was breathing. Which has caused again a lot of brain damage, but it's okay. She's alive and thriving.
Right.
And so this doctor, I said, listen, we've had miracles. I'm just trying to give her what she deserves. I've given her to St. Jude's for many research studies. I just want her to live the most normal life possible.
Right.
I said, when people were getting, back to school is always a hard thing for me because, when I'm supposed to be getting her ready for college, I was getting her ready for another surgery. So I always tell your parents, like, give thanks that you're sending your kids off to school.
It's funny because that's something that we just take for granted.
Yes.
Yeah, just totally take
It's
for
the
granted.
simple things in life, like seeing your kids go back to school, go to college. Like, we didn't get a lot of that, because we were always here.
Right.
She did a lot of school here.
Have you ever thought about moving to Memphis?
Yes, but then I'm like, no, because I have a grandbaby. She's in Florida.
We have airplanes, we got cars, bicycles.
I just said that to her today this morning. I
mean,
said,
my
Memphis
goodness.
gave me such good hair today that I just moved back to Memphis because Florida life right now.
She kills me with this
Yeah.
good hair.
But so we saw this doctor today, and he's like, yes, she deserves that. He said, I feel you. He's like, he looked at her and he's like, you know what? No, we have a plan. Not my plan, not your plan, God's plan, but we got a plan. So we'll be.
That's
coming
all you
back.
need to hear.
Yeah, that's all I needed to hear. And he's in there kind of boohooing like me. Like, I was telling my story, because it's a long story that I try to cut down in like at least 5 minutes because.
Impossible.
But I do a good. He said I did a good job.
Okay.
The nurse was like, I was like, you done typing? Are you tired yet? She's like, whoa, I had to take a deep breath of everything that she's been through. I said, I know, imagine that.
Right.
That's why I'm thankful that St. Jude gives us this big old like page booklet of everything that she's had done because, she's had so much done. 22 years of stuff, But he restored all that hope that one doctor destroyed in 5 minutes. But we came here with positive attitudes.
Hold on, wait a minute. Do you like them?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you like them?
Yes, I really, I actually text our nurse practitioner and I said, Megan, we love this doctor and we love you too. She's like, I'm so glad you liked him, B. I wasn't sure.
Goodness. Okay, so what if you didn't like him? Would you still want to proceed on?
Yes, we would then be going to Texas.
Gotcha.
We would be going to Texas, but I was, like I said, I was hoping that everything I read, and he was even more than what I read.
Of course.
So he has a plan. He's like, and he wants to do things that I never even heard of.
Well, I hope he does want to do things you never heard of, considering that's his field, his profession.
No, this day was amazing because then he adds on. He's like, by the way, the surgery, because she's doing a facial animation. He's like, this surgery, I actually happened. He's older now, of course. He's like, but he said the very first surgeon that actually invented this surgery, he's like, he taught me.
Oh, really?
And I'm just like, oh, I'm getting the,
Yeah.
I'm getting those goosies all day, and I'm just like, look at
No Tiger
God.
Woods fist pump.
No, no, no.
Uh,
I was crying, thanking God. No,
you cra-
literally, I was
That's
thinking.
what's up.
We went outside, and I said, okay, let's take a moment. Let's give thanks to God, and that this plan is God's plan, not our plan, not His plan. And I always talk to her. I'm like, this is where we give thanks, and of course, we said a prayer. Came back to the hospital, and we got the CT scan. He ordered a bunch of tests, and we got the CT scan done. So the game plan is in motion.
Awesome. So, okay, so you get the news today. You go back home tomorrow. So I guess they haven't figured out, when they want to start the process.
We're gonna wait those results for those. We're gonna wait for
Okay.
the CT scan results because he wants to
Okay.
see the structure, her skull structure, to see what he has to work with.
Right.
And
Well,
then
yeah.
he'll order the
Yeah.
rest of the test, and we'll be back.
So there's hope.
Oh yeah, Chris Hope.
You got that.
I know, and it's crazy because we walked into the hospital today, and there's a huge picture that said Hope.
Really?
Where I said on my post, this doctor took the hope that we had of finishing this up and trying to live a semi-normal life. Because who doesn't want to try to live a semi-normal life like everybody else? We want to be concerned about colds
Right.
and oh, my car got a flat. That's all fixable.
Right.
A cold and a flat is fixable.
Right.
This stuff,
Yeah.
yeah, it's deeper
Yes.
than deep. So,
Right.
so
I'm super happy for you. I'm super happy for you. So what's next for you?
what's next for me?
Yes.
So, since we have to take care of Lexi's surgeries, and that's what I'm going to do, I'm still going to do my challenging of my tests, and I want to do a little traveling, a little nursing traveling, because there's some good money in that, and like I said, bills don't stop coming.
No, they don't.
Bills don't stop coming.
Did you ever have to reach out to other organizations or family members for support?
My pride didn't let me.
Really?
Yes, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Oh, no, I get it.
I have always been a big saver. I've always been a big saver. So I've always I had somebody throw something back in my face,
Imagine that. I think I know where you get ready to go with this.
and it left a sour taste in my mouth.
I think I know where you're going with this. Yeah, but go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
I just don't ask for help. I figure it out.
You figure it out.
I figure it out.
That could be tough.
And my son says that, Mom, I don't know how you do it. I figure it out.
That could be tough.
I'll work
I
extra
mean, I know
hours.
I don't have to tell you that.
Yeah, I know. I work extra hours. We'll figure it out.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, I get that, but
I know.
us here at the Chris O Foundation got you.
I know.
Yes.
I know. I remember I was telling you about blocking blessings. I'm learning not to block people's blessings because I came here.
So if I had Viola go over there and write you a check,
Oh my gosh! Don't do this right now.
you would tell me no, that's okay. Is that what you're telling me?
Stop. Stop.
Because you
I'm not
are
gonna stop your blessing. I'm learning.
because you have given everything to be there for your daughter
Of course.
and for your son. You put yourself on the back burner, but then you was like, man, forget this. I gotta live too.
Finally, 22 years later, and I had to let me say this. I had to readjust my words because sometimes our words that we say matter. They're important words, okay? They're really important words, and I had to reevaluate me. I had to say, no, V, your words matter and your children hear those words. So I had to recheck myself now, okay? And say, you know what? I love you, Lex. And yes, life happened. And yes, it was hard, but we're surviving and we're going to continue surviving. So I had to, tell myself, our kids need us even when they get older. We never stop being moms.
No, we never stop.
We never stop being and dads. Sorry, mom and dads. We never stop. We never stop being mom and dads. Okay,
Right.
never,
No.
never. And now, like I said, when I finally let my guard down and finally let the walls just come tumbling, it was not easy.
Okay.
Oh, 2021 was a year for V.
Yeah.
Okay, it was a year of self-healing, of feeling her journey, and knowing that it was my journey too. It wasn't just Lexi's journey.
Right.
Because
Right.
for a long time, I just felt like a shadow. Like
Right.
everybody, like, oh, there's Angel's
Yeah.
mom and there's Lexi mom, and I'm like, yeah, that's all I knew. And now I'm like, I got to take care of V too. I
Right.
matter.
So how did the brother? Because I mean, you had to give a lot of attention to her. How did the brother cope with that?
It was hard for my son, and it's still hard to this day.
Yeah.
It's still hard to this day. He's like, he has his moments. He has a daughter now. He's a father himself,
Okay.
and so he kind of gets it. He kind of gets it. He's like, Mom, I get it now.
Right.
Why you went above and beyond? And he's like, you just made it happen for us.
Well, I mean, he was young then. He didn't
Listen.
know it. It wasn't his place to know at
He was
at that time.
5.
Right.
He was 5. He was listen. This boy was something else. Now he kept me on my toes too.
I bet.
He actually his first crush was at St. Jude's.
Imagine
Never
that.
forget little Kayla. My son was in love with little Kayla. He wrote this little girl's name in the floor after the guy had just
Oh
waxed
my
it.
gosh.
He made sure it was sealed and dealed that he loved Kayla. Unfortunately, Kayla passed away.
Hmm.
Of course, I didn't tell him because I just told him that she had to go home.
Right.
Well, she
Well,
did.
she did.
She did.
Yeah,
She
she
did.
did,
She
yeah.
did. Where people have to understand this is our temporary home.
Yeah.
This is not home, people.
Right.
You better appreciate this temporary home because we're all gonna go home to our real home one day.
Right.
So I had to explain to him, she had to go home, and of course when he was older, I said she passed away, baby. She passed away, and yeah, he was of course crushed. So
Right.
I love my son. He like I said, as men, you guys sometimes don't know how to deal with your feelings. And I had to tell him it's okay to cry.
It varies.
It's okay to cry.
Person to person.
It's okay to cry. But that's because but again, that's because that's what people said. Men have to be strong. No, men can be fragile and weak too.
Well, I may have shed a tear one or two,
Men can
three
be
times.
and men can cry. And I tell my son, when you
well,
feel like crying, I need you to cry.
You're right.
Don't hold that in.
Right.
Your
It
mental
makes it
matters.
worse.
Yes, your mental matters.
Yes.
I need you to cry, because when you cry, your heart gets a little softer, and I need it to
Mm-hmm.
be soft because you have a little girl now.
Yep.
You have a little girl.
Yep.
You have a little girl that needs her daddy, and she needs to feel that genuine.
Right.
And
Right.
and when she wants to cry, you let her cry.
Uh-huh.
So he's doing good. Like I said, Cancer Life. Like I said, our favorite movie is My Sister's Keeper. I meant to say sorry, My Sister's Keeper, because he really is. My kids are really locked in together. Okay.
That's awesome.
That's the first person she wanted to call today when we got the news after
really?
the appointment. Yeah, and we always call him because if you put it on social media before him knowing,
Yeah, you're going to hear about it.
Oh yeah. Let me say this though: in the midst of 2017, of us, her being diagnosed with her brain tumor, that's like at the end, that's when my grandbaby, was. That's how we found out. I won't tell you my reaction because to this day, everybody cannot forget my reaction. I sent everybody out of the car. You're what? He said, Mom, you turned white. I turned white. We all turned white.
God, dog.
Yeah, because he's like, if you could have grabbed me through the camera, you would have.
Wow.
Yeah, he had to call me right away. And he's like, Mom. And then I sat there that night. I'm like, wow, look at God. Look at God. When here, we're fighting for life, he gave another life to us.
Yep.
So G Baby is our we call her our rainbow during the storm.
How about that?
She's our rainbow during the storm. That's why everybody's like, she's a mini UV.
Uh-oh. Hope not completely.
I'm trying to get her to be a Dallas Cowboy fan, but her dad's not letting me.
Shout out to Dad. At least somebody in this bloodline
Sense.
knows.
I hear it.
Oh, my gosh. Well, that's okay.
But I tell him, too, not to like I said, we do get a little stagnant and get stuck, and I tell him not to. Don't feel your pain, and let's keep it going. We've been blessed.
Yes.
We have been blessed.
And we're going to bless you, too.
I can't do
The
it.
Chris Ho Foundation is going to bless you. And you can fight me all you want to.
I don't fight no more. I don't.
You don't fight anymore?
No.
Yep.
I said that's something I had to learn.
Yeah.
I was at the airport crying, like I said. And people were like, "Why is she just crying? Was she crying because her suitcase? She can't find her suitcase." I'm like, "No, if you only knew the deepness of this blessing I just received."
Right. Well, we're going to bless you, too, because you've been through a lot. And, I get the pride thing. But sometimes it's okay to allow folks to come in and give a helping hand.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for. I mean, because your journey is not over.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's what the doctor said today. It's crazy that we've been hearing that all day.
Uh-huh.
He said, "No, the journey's just beginning." Where you thought it was over, he said, "No,
Right.
it's just beginning." He told Lexi, "Your journey is just beginning." I'm like, and that's where honestly, that's where we feel. This 23, we said one of my favorite numbers is 23, okay? Because I'm a big, Michael Jordan fan. I love
Okay.
me some Jays.
Uh-huh.
And of course, 7. Just 7, 23, those are my numbers. And
Okay.
3, of course, that,
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, 23 is going to be our year. It's going to be our year.
And here it
A year
is.
of good mindsets, a year of, deeper healing. We're all growing and healing on a daily basis. If you're not growing and you're not healing, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
something that 23 is going to be our year.
Well, how about that? Well, here it is. And after all this time, we finally get to cross paths and we get to share the
19,
stories.
21,
Yeah.
22, yeah.
Yeah, it's been a
5 years
very
later.
long time.
He has. He's like, I'm like, no, we're flying out. Or, are you here? Nope, we're out.
And yeah, because it's like every time I would reach out, you would say, we're here. Okay, all right. So let me know when we can get together. Well, we get ready to head right back out. Okay, we're going to be there. So. Okay, great. So what are your appointments like? What's your schedule like? Then you tell me, it's like, well, dang, now I can't make it.
Yeah.
You was always
You know
in
what
and out.
though? It was on God's good timing though. It was on God's time. It wasn't time. It wasn't time
It
for us
wasn't
to
time.
meet.
It wasn't time.
We had to communicate, but it wasn't time to
Right.
meet in person.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's-
Yep.
It
How
wasn't
about
time.
that? Well, I want you to know that I'm glad that we finally were able to talk face to face versus through all the chat avenues that there are. And, maybe now going forward, we could be a bigger part of the next chapter in her life and in your life. And continue to do some of the things that we had planned years before we did with Child Cancer Awareness Month.
Yes.
So now maybe we
I'm
can
still-
start that partnership with
Yeah.
all over again.
I'm still doing my
Yeah.
thing back home in our little town,
Okay.
We're
Well,
a
we're
small
still trying
town,
to
but
do
we're
our thing
mighty.
here in
Yeah,
Memphis.
yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. We can
Yeah.
definitely connect.
Right.
One thing that I want to say thank you, though. I want to say thank you because do you have a kid that has childhood cancer?
No,
All right. And why do you do this?
because there's a need.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a need. There's definitely a need. So we want to be able to provide that need for people just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
And like
but
her.
no, but thank you though, because you don't have to. Because you don't have to, but you do.
Yeah.
So thank you. No, trust me. I see you all the way from Florida. Your work doesn't go
are you
unseen.
are you Facebook stalking me? You was doctor stalking the other guy. So
Your work doesn't go. I got you. You know how you do those little social media stars, the favorites up at the top?
Right.
Because I follow important people. Like, you're important. You're
wow.
doing something. You're doing something for our families at St. Jude's. Like, again, one of my girlfriends once told me now her son is, was because he's, cancer, NED now. She said, unless it happens to you, you don't pay attention.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people turn their eye to this. A lot of people turn their eye. Everybody goes crazy, and I'm not talking down on any cancer, awareness, but everybody goes crazy. Everybody knows October. Everybody knows pink.
Everybody knows about the
pink in
pink.
October.
Yes.
And us cancer parents, childhood cancer parents, we're not saying anything. We're just saying we want the same awareness, because you have to remember that kids, in order to be older women, have to survive childhood cancer.
Yeah.
So if we can give that much awareness to us women, I'm a woman, and like I said, equal. I have family members that have had breast cancer. I think our kids deserve that much. How do we go pink in all the schools? Everywhere, the schools.
In the schools.
And especially the schools. That's where I started, was a school.
Right.
My daughter's high school. I went to
Right.
them and I said, no, hold on. And it's the beginning of the school year. I said, you guys are going to go pink this year? She's like, oh, yeah, they were excited. I said, but kids get childhood cancer, right? And you know that Lexi's, in this county, and we're small county, like I said, back home. And I said, why are we not going gold in September? It's before October. I'm not saying that, I'm not dismissing that. I'm just saying,
Right.
if kids are the ones that are affected, why are the kids not fighting and bringing awareness to something that happens to them? And I went in there. I remember I went in there with a speech and a video of all my friends. I reached out to all my St. Jude friends and moms, and I said, can I get before and afters of your children? And I'm talking about living and not living. So I got pictures of them, what they were before their cancer, and those that were after. One of my girlfriends touched me deep, because she sent me a picture. Oh yeah, she sent me a picture. She sent me a picture of her and her son at one of his birthdays, and the next picture was her giving him a kiss at his funeral. Yeah. Woo!
Wow.
So I went in there with a speech and
Oh, wow.
I said, you know what? I'm gonna play this video for you guys. And then after the video, I ripped up the speech. I said, this,
Nothing else to be said.
nah, no, I did. And I'm like, how can you guys all, in all our schools, we have 6 elementaries, 2 middle schools, and 1 high school. Because, like I said, we're a small town. I said, how can we go pink and not go gold? All
Right.
I'm asking you. And out of my own pocket money, I went and got every single one of these schools a banner, nice banner that I
Uh-huh.
want hung up at
Hmm.
during the whole month of September that says, rather it be North Elementary, South Elementary, school goals and their initials and their mascot goes gold for childhood cancer awareness this month. And
Awesome.
then I got one for our town as well because we hang out signs.
Hmm.
So we got one for our town, which we use it now for the high school because it's bigger and we have the go games now every
Hmm.
September. And I said, how can we not? Like, what are we doing? So after that, the principal, now he's, the superintendent's assistant at our school board. He's like, as long as I'm in this town and as long as you're here, he said, we're going gold.
Hmm.
So we get gold, we get ready to go at the end of July and all of August, and then get our shirts done, and purchased, and we have a gold game, and we have a little presentation we're gonna do. And last year, unfortunately, with hurricane season, because I live in Florida, we didn't get to do the full presentation,
Hmm.
and we were hoping to introduce one of our local cancer babies that we had another child diagnosed in back home in Florida, but unfortunately she passed away from her cancer. So this year, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I got something.
It's funny because earlier this year, I was trying to work with Shelby County Schools here to do that same thing, have childhood cancer awareness game. Thought I had a connection that kind of fell through, and then met with someone that was a board member, but that kind of fell through because they had their sights on their next mission, political mission. So it kind of fell through. So of course, everything that we have going on here, I've kind of fallen off. But then when you start talking about that, I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot about that mission, that campaign I was wanting to work on. So of course, it's what, late August now, but it still doesn't mean that it can't be done.
But you can start planning right now for next year.
Well,
It's
yeah,
never
that's
too
true.
late.
That's true. But I will say this: our friends at Northwest Community College, which is in Hernando, Mississippi. That's about a 30-minute drive from here. Every year, they have a childhood cancer awareness game, and you know what I like about that is that I don't reach out to them every year to see if we can have this game. Now the
They
president
reach
of the
out to
college
you.
are calling me, Chris,
Yes.
what does this date look like for you? And that is freaking incredible.
Right?
It's
It's that
freaking
feeling
incredible.
inside, like,
Yes,
yes.
yes,
It,
they care.
yeah, so this is okay. So everybody's like, well, why is it so important? I said, because let me tell you. So, Susan G. Coleman's sister, okay? This is how important awareness is, okay? Because if you guys don't know the story behind Susan G. Coleman, how it started really quickly,
I want you to look at that camera
it was her sister,
right
okay?
there.
This
I
is
want
the
you to look
reason
at that
why
camera.
awareness is so important, okay? And why we shout out more than 4%. And I'll get to that in just a minute. Why awareness is so important? Because it took one person, and that was Susan G. Coleman's sister, that also herself got diagnosed later on with breast cancer. She became her sister's voice and started the Susan G. Komen Foundation. Now, of course, yet mine, she had a lot of people in the politics and everything, and that's okay. So do we all. We all have friends in politics. We all have friends in high places. It took one voice, her sister's voice, to make Susan G. Komen to make Go Pink as big as it is right now. One voice, okay? So now, this is what I'm gonna get it real for not just my St. Jude moms, and I'm talking about my childhood cancer parents. Our kids cannot be the voice, okay? We have to be their voice. As parents, we have to be their voice. If we want childhood cancer to end, we have to step up and be our children's voice. They can't speak for themselves. They cannot. We have to speak for them. We have to fight for them. I'm fighting for my daughter. I've been fighting for my daughter for the last 22 years, and I will fight for her until the day that I die. And I will keep going gold, and I will keep going more than four. More than four. What more than four means is that the government gives out 100% of a budget of cancer funding, and only 4% of that funding goes to childhood cancer research. 4%, guys. 4%. The rest goes to all adult cancer. Look it up if you think I'm lying. I don't have no reason to be saying false facts, but only 4% goes to our children. What are we doing? That is 4 pennies out of every dollar. Please tell me, if I mailed you 4 pennies in an envelope to your home and said, this is all your child deserves for funding, what would you do? Now, on a bigger note, because we don't have enough money for funding, a lot of cancer drugs, we can have better cancer drugs, okay? A lot of reasoning our children have so many side effects is because the chemo doses that they get are sometimes adult doses, kind of broken down. That's like kind of giving Tylenol to your child. Say you ran out of children's Tylenol. You're like, you know what? Hold on. I got some adult Tylenol. Let me break it down and give it to them. I bet if I told you that, you would look at me like I'm crazy. Okay, so why is my child getting adult chemotherapy broken down in doses? This is a reality, and this is the reason we go gold, and we are going hard for childhood cancer awareness, and the reason why we have to go gold and start it. So ours is we go gold 365, because once we stop going gold in September, guess what? There's another kid that's going to die October 1st. There's another kid that's going to die right before Christmas or on Christmas. There's going to be another kid that'll die in January and in February and in March, and continue until we spread awareness. But again, Susan G. Komen had a sister that was an adult that had a voice, that used her voice for her sister and founded that foundation and worked really hard. We have so many children that are diagnosed with cancer daily, and that are my friends, that are my friends' friends. What are we doing? Why are we not going gold? Why are we not being the voice? And that's our other hashtag, be the voice.
Be the voice. So,
and go gold 365.
I'm going to hand you this.
You want me to drop that mic?
I want you to drop that
You want
mic.
me to drop the mic that people are going to now support the reasoning behind childhood cancer awareness and why us parents will never give up.
And on that, we're going to say goodbye. Girl, you powerful.
I guess.
You are powerful. You bit that. I mean, look at I'm finna go pay my cargo.